So, hello friends. Uh, we are recording audiobook. So far, the book is The Crack Mirror. So far, we have covered two chapters. The first one is egalitarianism and social sciences in India, and the second one is experience and the theory from Habermas to Gopal Guru. Now, we are starting the third chapter, understanding experience. So, this audiobook is for the people those who are not able to read the whole book. So this is an attempt to so people can listen to it. So we'll start. We have referred to experience in a different context in the earlier chapters. In this chapter I want to explore the foundational ideas related to experience, drawing on some Indian and Western philosophical discussion on this theme. Experience is synonym for many things that are essentially human: lives, sentience, consciousness, awareness, feeling, knowing. Experience is the foundation of human existence, and it is not possible to make sense of this existence without understanding the nature of experience. The problem in theorizing experience lies precisely in the fact that it is so matter of fact and immediate. There is no need to work toward having an experience. We just have experiences whether we like it or not. We have experiences of pain, pleasure, hunger, illness, joy, sorrow, sight, touch, and smell. We also have experiences of recollecting, remembering, forgetting, and dreaming, including daydreaming. Our actions are also experiential, such as the experience of speaking, writing, running, jumping, swimming, and so on. There are also a range of psychological experiences that define our response to the world, such as anger, humiliation, power, insecurity. What are the common characteristics in all these diverse experiences, ranging from the experience of seeing to the experience of anger or the experience of dreaming? One common characteristics is the notion of feeling. All the experiences that we have are felt, and it is indeed significant that the description of feeling draw upon the sensation of touch. We are in touch with our experiences, and experiences touch us in the most primitive way. This invocation of touch is significant, for it illustrates an essential nature of experience, that it is most immediate, just like touch to immediate. The metaphor of sight involves a distance between the seer and the object of sight. But touch has no perceptible distance between the toucher and the touch. Experience is more like like touch than sight, because there is really no distance between the experiencer and experience. The last two chapters of this book will explore the experience of touch in a greater detail. It is this immediacy, this obviousness of experience that make it unique as well as problematic. Experience is fundamentally a feeling. What then is to feel? Feeling is associated most often with psychological state. We feel emotion like joy and anger. We feel upset or feel hungry. One immediate contrast is the thinking. When we think, we do not say we feel thinking. While there is definitely an experience of thinking, what is to feel when we are in the act of thinking? The feeling of thinking seems to be different in the sense that we do not, in common parlance, talk about feeling our thoughts, but only of thinking about thoughts. Feeling is intrinsically associated with experiencer, in that to be an experiencer is to have the capacity to feel. This is often expressed equivalently by saying that feeling is a first person, in that only the individual who has the feeling can really access it. Nobody else can have the experiential access to my feeling, although they may have linguistic and non-verbal access to my feeling. Thus, somebody can infer on seeing my face that I have a headache, or can know my state on hearing it from me, but they can never experience the headache that I experience. It is This aspect of experience that has often been seen to be problematic as far as the relation between experience and the knowledge is concerned. It is this aspect that so often ground the problematic element of subjectivity, since the world of experience seems to be completely private, one in which nobody else can share. This means that accepting somebody's account of their experience as being true need a great deal of trust. We should also recognize that there are other human capacities that are not restricted to feeling. For example, consider the capacity for language. When we speak, do we have the feeling of language? How is language really felt? Even the question of meaning does not easily transfer to the vocabulary of feeling. We do not say that we felt a particular meaning of a sentence. Instead, we discover meaning or construct them. Such acts of discovery and construction are reflective of prior experiences. Part of the problems lie in the isolation of the category of experience. If experience is fundamentally about feeling, then it gets associated with notions such as the first person experience, subjectivity, and so on. Therefore, it also gets placed in opposition to ideas such as the objectivity and reason. The suspicion toward experience in Western epistemology, particularly the analytical tradition, is due to this interpretation of the nature of experience. Specifically, the process of thinking are distinguished from experience, thereby leading to the enduring binary of reason and emotion, where reason is associated with thought and emotion with feeling. There is another way of acknowledging the pervasiveness and the immediacy of experience without placing it within ideas such as the subjective and the objective, as well as not placing it in opposition to objective knowledge and truth. This is by invoking the notion of cognitive states. And as experiential being, we are forever in one cognitive state or the other. Cognitive states are transitory, they begin, proceed, and end. One cognitive state is replaced by another. Cognitive states are immediate and pervasive, like experience, but the subjective first person aspect of experience is only one kind of cognitive state. Reason and reflection are also cognitive states. While one is reasoning, one can describe the cognitive process involved in it. Thus, a description of experience through cognitive states seems to be a more general description of the human experience. In such a description, the problematic notion of feeling is only part of the cognition related to experience. Shifting the description to cognitive state thus has important consequences to the larger question of the relation between experience and theory. While we will not be able to discuss this in a greater detail here, it must be noted that Indian philosophical traditions are primarily about cognitions. As we will see later, the description of experience as subjective feeling does not occupy a dominant role in this tradition. First person experience is only a particular kind of cognitive state, and experience in general is more encompassing. Cognitive description of experience, as in the Indian tradition, are embodied descriptions. To have an experience, we need a body. We are not pure consciousness in the world. We have a body through which we experience the world. The five sensory organ generate sensation in us, and thus these organs are the windows through which we experience. But the five organs are not enough in themselves. Rather, a better way of describing this would be to say that the physical organ by themselves do not guarantee experience. They are only the mediator of experience. What bind this input from the organ as one experience is consciousness. An equivalent way of saying this is to note that the organ by themselves do not feel. The aspects of feeling, it is believed, need something more than the physical organ. The body is the complex that consists not only of the physical organ but also consciousness. Such a view is common to Indian philosophical tradition. Modern Western thought adds another ingredient to this complex by viewing mind as another kind of entity, one which is not physical. It is interesting to note that for Indian philosophies in general, the mind is seen as a constituted by matter and is seen as the sixth organ, albeit one that is an internal organ. The function of the mind is to synthesize the sensory inputs from the other five senses. Emotions are fundamentally experiences. Since these emotions are understood to be psychological states and purely subjective, their epistemological status is ever in question. So, to the extent that experience overlap with emotion, there is no possibility of having a well established relationship between experience and knowledge, at least for many accounts of knowledge in the contemporary and mainstream Western tradition. Even empiricism, which would base knowledge on sensory experience, does not base knowledge on emotion but only on sensation of the world received through the body. One cannot articulate the basic problem in this manner. While we see an object, we receive information about various aspects of the object, such as its color and shape, but we do not receive any emotions from it. A flower might give a particular person joy, while in another it may evoke sadness. But these emotions are not seen to be part of the descriptive characteristic of that flower. Hence, emotions do not generate empirical knowledge. At the most, they can only generate knowledge about the nature of subject. For example, if I experience sadness on seeing flower, this experience has some information about me that would explain why I feel this emotion. This emotion says nothing about the particular flower. One cannot underestimate the importance of this belief. The foundation of modern science rests on this distinction between emotion and knowledge. Galileo's dictum that science should be concerned only with the primary qualities and not the secondary ones, those like emotion and taste that are primarily human responses to things, means that scientific knowledge begin by keeping emotion away. The rhetoric of knowledge that follow has extrapolated this removal of secondary qualities to the rejection of any notion of experience and the subjective. Such a move also allow modern knowledge system to disengage with the question of ethics in relation to knowledge. I will discuss this point in greater detail in chapter 6 on the ethics of theorizing. However, emotions are an integral part of our experiences in this world, particularly so in the social world. As social scientists, we do feel emotions toward the subject matter of our work in a ways that natural scientists do not. While the practice of social science keeps out this emotional aspect of experience both in the method and in writing, there is nevertheless a looming presence of emotion within social theory. This complex relationship between experience, emotion, and knowledge is another challenge to theorizing experiences.